everybody, it's Hannah Williams, your favorite policy and research analyst, and today we're going to talk about the census, okay? I know that people have probably forgotten all about the census and the fact that it's even going on right now because there's just so many other things happening in America with the rallies and riots and COVID-19 still being a thing. I know a lot of people have probably forgotten about the census, but this is your super quick reminder to fill out the census, okay? So for those of you who are probably wondering, what is the census anyway? Well, the census is literally the act of counting all the people that live within the United States. Okay, so the census was started in 1790. Okay, it's a long time ago, and that's when they basically just wanted to know how many people were living in the colonies at the time. So they conducted a census where they went and knocked on people's doors one by one and counted all the people in the house and wrote it down. So why is the census still relevant in 2020? Well, first and foremost, ever since 1790, the census has happened every 10 years unless there's some big major catastrophic brouhaha going on. But pretty much the census has never skipped a year ever, I do believe. So it's still the same thing. They're still going and counting how many people live in every house across the United States, in every city, county, state, whatever. They're still doing that. But the census actually has a few benefits to being conducted. Now, one of the first things is it basically determines how much money each state gets for state funding. So especially in a state like Mississippi, where we are, not the richest state out here, we rely a lot on tons of government money, and we always stand the risk of being undercounted because people don't really tend to respond to the census here in Mississippi. And what it does, it ends up cutting our funding that we could potentially get from the federal government. Now, why is that a bad thing? Well, that money goes into all of our government programs. So our education budget, our budget for infrastructure, everything all comes from this particular big check that we get cut every 10 years or so. Now, that doesn't mean that our local governments aren't and state governments aren't always allocating to get money from the federal government, but census money, okay? We want our census money. We want our just due part in getting our census check. So another thing that really comes from the census that people don't tend to think about as much is the fact that we can find our ancestry and our lineage from the census. Now, even though this data won't be released in terms of specific people, places, and things until I believe it's like the 75-year rule. So we won't see it here to be released, but people that may be looking for us generations later will be able to find out who we are, where we were living, when we participated in this particular census. I know personally we do a lot of genealogical research in my family, and the census has played a major part in us being able to find our relatives and where they were at, and also, what they potentially were doing during certain periods of time in history. And I know for us Black people, finding our lineage is like super important to us. So always keep in mind that you can go to your local archives and look up census information on relatives and have some more insight into like where you come from and the people who basically shaped your life or produced you or the reason that you're even here today. Another thing that, this is like a myth buster basically about the census, is that the Census Bureau operates under complete confidentiality. So when people come and take the census in person at your house, or you fill it out, this year it's online, so you fill out your online census survey or whatever, they do not, one, ask about criminal records, so you don't have to worry about that, and two, they do not share this information with other government agencies. Now, the reason that information is important is because some government programming has a specific requirement to like how many people can live in a house, who can do what, who can be where, how much money you can make, whatever. One, the Census Bureau is only counting the number of people in your house, And 2, they don't take any other personal information. So they don't want to know about your job or any of that. They literally just want to know how many people live at this address. That's it. Nobody's losing government benefits over the census unless you're not taking it and then your funding gets cut for your state and then they just redact the program. So make sure you take your census. Okay. Another thing that you guys need to know about is how can you even participate in the census? Well, this year, for the first time ever, the census is online. So when you get those postcards in the mail that have this weird, creepy code on it, trust me, it's not like aliens trying to talk to you. It's your code to go online and take the census. So you can go online and take the census. It's a real simple questionnaire. It probably takes less than 5 minutes to do it. I know I did it from my house and it was like 30 seconds, literally. And you go online, you answer a couple of questions. It basically just wants to verify your address and it's gonna ask you how many people live in your house and then you submit it. Like literally, that's it. So you go online, take the census, boom, that's one way to do it. You can still do a paper survey, but that's later on down the road. Census survey takers are still going to come out and knock on doors later this year because of COVID-19. That has been pushed back, obviously, but census takers are still gonna come and knock on your door to take the census. If you don't want them knocking on your door, please be motivated to respond prior to when they start having door knockers come out, okay? You can also call the Census Bureau and take the census over the phone, or have somebody help you take the census over the phone. I know a lot of older people probably would rather do that version than do it online or wait for people to come to their house, because I know here in Mississippi, especially in rural Mississippi, we don't trust people we don't know at our house, okay? So always keep in mind that that is a cool, quick, and easy way to take the census. Is take it online or call them. There is a census number. I will leave it down below for Mississippi, and they will direct you to, I believe, like your county. I will also leave the census website down below so that you guys can go ahead and take the census if you have not, okay? It's super easy, super quick. It's painless. I promise you, if it was not painless, I would tell you, because I have a very low tolerance for pain, okay? So one of the reasons, so this is like the final reason why you should take the census. So your congressional districts depend on how many people are in those districts. One of those ways they get that information is because of the census. Once the census data comes back, redistricting, a word that I can't say, redistricting efforts go into effect when they decide to redistribute or redraw these district lines. Now what happens is if you are undercounted in your state, you lose a congressional seat because a district goes away. It gets eliminated, split up, and merges into one of the other districts. In Mississippi's case, in 2010, we actually lost a congressional seat. We lost a district. We lost another person that could go to the state capitol, not state capitol, to go to the national capitol and sit in the big house side, and you know, basically fight for things that Mississippi wants. So with this, we have an opportunity to be counted correctly. Everybody respond, because we have an opportunity to get our congressional house seat back. Which means that is another person that we can elect to go to Washington, D.C. to fight for the things that Mississippi wants to see from its national government, or fight for other things, including like more funding and expanded budgets and, you know, just whatever we need, they can do that. But if we don't have enough people to badger the people in D.C. to give us what we want, then who's gonna fight for us? Another cool thing to know about the census, I know the redistricting thing was the last thing I said, that was the final, but no. Another cool thing to know about the census is the fact that there are tons of census, whatever. There are tons of census being taken all the time. They're being taken for different reasons. This particular census that pops up every 10 years is specifically to count how many people are in the United States. But businesses and corporations also look at census data to determine where to put a new business, or like, you know, a job producing opportunity in an area. So like the fact that we have a Nissan plant in Mississippi or in Canton rather, is like significant for us, because that information had to come from census data to know that that was a viable option for Nissan, to know that that was a great opportunity to be able to put a factory here that would produce jobs. If you're wondering where Walmarts all of a sudden are popping up all over rural Mississippi, it's because they're looking at other types of census data to determine if it's a feasible option for them or a good investment. So again, participate in the census, because even the national census is still information that's looked at for businesses to determine whether or not they want to move into your area. And if you want more modernized things or better places to shop, honey, you need to be participating in your census. Okay, boo? Okay. That is actually it for this video. I'm gonna leave all that information down below. Please reach out to Mississippi Votes if you have any questions at info@msvotes.org. You can email us. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram at msvotes. Okay, we should pop up. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so you'll be notified every time we post a video on this channel. Okay, boo? And yeah, that's pretty much it. We will catch you in the next one. Bye.